And yeah, I guess we'll I don't know, roll the intro.
Yeah, I guess whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah, roll the thing, roll the intro. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bitcade. Man, took a little bit of a break, but we're back for episode 41. Yeah, we did a whole thing. We the one time where we had a like connecting number there, the 40. I forgot the episode. So, but this one's 41, so here we are.
Yay.
Yay! Which is crazy because this happened. I think Bitcade's almost 4 years old. I think it's the first podcast we did, so it's like that 40 episodes crossed over 4 years, which is insane. So now we're over 40, road to 50, but here we are, episode 41. My name is Ryan Amore. Joining me, like always, is
Ashton, aka Sticky.
and today's topics are gonna be. Let's run it down. We're gonna talk about the Resident Evil 8 showcase or the Resident Evil showcase. They talked about a whole bunch of stuff that happened as of this recording today, but as you're listening to this, this will be coming out the following week. We're also going to go and talk about what would be a good video game TV show / movie. And then also video game anniversaries, but more on that later. In the first bit, we're going to be talking about the Resident Evil showcase that happened, the April showcase. Ashton, you watched this along with me here, and just what I guess let's go overall the general view of what happened here. We can go into the bullet points. I know you have the press release thing opened up and whatnot, but
I do.
how did you feel about it? How did you feel about this? How do you feel about Resident Evil in
more
general?
pumped.
Yeah,
Made me
more pumped?
way more pumped for the game, honestly. They're bringing back something. Well, I mean, before I get into that, I mean, overall the game just looks amazing. They are going a little bit more arcadey this time around, and less like how Resident Evil 7 was, which I think some people will like. I'm actually okay with that. And they're also bringing in like another game mode. It's kind of like a game mode that was in Resident Evil 6. It was like that. You just go through like hordes of infected whatever. But I don't even know what these things are because there's like vampires and werewolves, which I don't know. Was that? It almost looked like Chris Redfield might be a werewolf now. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, because like I was noticing that when there was they showed the cover poster thing in the trailer, Chris's face is halved with a wolf. So now there's kind of like I was wondering what was going on there, but yeah, maybe we might get to see. And we've seen the werewolf in the trailers and stuff, but never known if it was a werewolf or a wolf. We still don't know actually, or it's just some creepy monster Capcom decided to throw at us here. So
it could be. I mean, overall, I mean, it looks awesome. And then, but we're going to be getting some. What is it next week? PlayStation players are able to play 2 different demos.
yeah, so for PlayStation 5 and I guess PS4 people are going to get access to not one. Well, okay, so next week for when you're listening to this, the date for this would be April 17th, which is when this bit of Bitcade comes out. April 17th, 2021, you'll be able to play on PS5 and PS4 the Village demo. There are going to be 2 demos, and you can play half an hour of that. And I don't know how much you can go and do, but like you get a total timer of 30 minutes to play it. And then the following week, on the 24th, PlayStation players, PS5 and PS4, will be able to play the Castle demo for a half an hour. And it's weird because so this is Pacific time, so look up your local time or whatever it is. But for Pacific, it's 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. when you can play it. It's like such a weird time frame. They're both Saturdays, and Xbox, Stadia, Steam, all the other platforms will get it later, but I think the following week after that, or in May, I think is what they're gonna aim for the next consoles. But I mean, I got to play in a tier on the channel, and Ashton watched me play it,
Mm-hmm.
Maiden, which was the little tech demo. So you get to look around in the foyer of the castle, and then you also get to look in the dungeon a little bit. And it are yeah, Ashton's completely right. Like I got to see it in the 4K 60 that it is in on the PS5, and it looks amazing. So
Pretty good, man. And then there was another demo after this upcoming one, correct?
let
That's
me
gonna be
check.
in the village.
Yeah, I said this one. So you got Village coming out on April 17th, and you got Castle coming out on April 24th.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then on the one, I think the release that you're looking at are the dates for the other consoles. I don't know if you want to say those dates.
I'm actually looking for it. Let's
I think it's at the top of
see.
it. But yeah, and then the
Believe.
arcadey part that Ashton was referring to is called Mercenaries. It has been a game mode that has existed in the past RE games, but this time it's a little bit different. You got like perks and stuff now, so they're adding these like. But the one thing is, I didn't see like multiplayer aspect of it. So if they can bring multiplayer to that, I think that game mode could be really fun. But I mean, the solo challenge, you're obviously gonna have your audience for that, but we'll see what happens. So
Gotcha. It looks like the demo for the other consoles. Well, just Xbox, Steam, and it looks like Google Stadia will be May 1st and 2nd. First, if you're in United States at 5 p.m. Pacific to May 2nd, 5 p.m. So you get 24 hours,
mm.
which
um,
is interesting.
yeah, it's definitely like a weird time frame of what we're doing on all of these.
Yeah, not sure
Um,
why they did it that way, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, and so they also talked about Resident Evil. I think they're calling it RE verse. I don't think it's called Reverse, but it's RE verse, which is their multiplayer thing. I guess they're bringing that into Resident Evil 8 as well as Resident Evil Village as well. You get that for free. It's a multiplayer aspect of things, so it's kind of interesting. So that if Mercenaries is going to be a single player, let's say it is single player, it will be a single player challenge based game, while there's a multiplayer aspect of the game, and then there's also the mainline story of the game, which is super interesting that Resident Evil is doing these like this trifecta like pillar system. That there's only one other game that I've kind of seen them do that's done that had a sort of horde mode, a multiplayer mode, and a and a mainline story. But I'm not saying that maybe that Activision game is in maybe they might be trying to ride the wave with. But I think that Resident Evil doing these a little more multiplayer stuff, they got to make it their own though. Don't be copying people. But
well, yeah. I mean, like with Resident Evil 6, I mean they had stuff where you go through hordes and you have to beat them as quick as you can. There's like stuff you could hit around the map to increase your time. It was like a timed thing. You got to try and be in there as long as you can, rack up as many points. Um, it kind of looked like that, but it's too hard to say. Until we have more details.
yeah. What else was there? There was we got our 30-minute of that. We talked about Mercenaries. Oh, they're doing the crossover with Dead by Daylight. So there's Dead by Daylight's getting
Mm-hmm.
more and more stuff. It's kind of the game it's fascinating to me. 5-year-old game this year, and it's gonna cross over with another horror game. Not saying that that's unlikely because obviously Fortnite's been crossing over with games all these last couple of months. But it's just interesting that like Dead by Daylight, that game for some reason has survived because I remember playing that game on a what was that? It was a Steam box of some sort. I think it was a Steam box, and I played it at PAX, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is this new game. Come play it." Blah blah blah. And I played it on a tablet, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And then like that was it because they were using the Steam box to connect to the tablet so you can play it and blah blah blah.
Right.
And I was like, "All right, this is cool," but Little did I know that the Steam box would die before the before the game would, but
Yeah,
that's funny. But yeah, so Dead by Daylight Resident Evil crossover. That's gonna be interesting. And what else is there? Anything else?
that's it. Other than the CGI series that they're making, the animated series, and then they have that live action
Yeah, why don't you
thing
talk?
coming out as well.
So what is happening with this? It's coming to Netflix, right? This is a Netflix original
Yeah,
series.
the animated series is coming to Netflix in July, this year, which would be pretty cool. It's back in like in terms of like canons, like 2004 with like Leon and some other chick. I don't even remember who that is. It looks really good. They're actually just now in. They have everything done. They're in post production and they're CGIing all the monsters and stuff right now. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
and that's a good sign too. That means probably we're looking at maybe early next year. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't think Resident Evil would come out on during Halloween time. I think that's
Well, the
probably
animated
safe.
series is coming out in July. I don't know
Yeah,
about the
but
live action.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the live action. Because if it's in post production and it's got CGI to only work on, you're probably looking at a early 22 release, or maybe they'll try to go summer. But I don't know who's
Maybe,
making.
maybe.
I don't know who's making that movie. That might be the major decision too. But like if Warner has it, then they're gonna try and release this as probably early as they possibly can because their 22 schedule looks stacked. Um,
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, it was quite a little conference. I liked it. I enjoyed what was going on with it, and I think that where we're seeing Resident Evil, which is so weird, like from Resident Evil 7 to now, that franchise has like been revived. Like I remember when Resident Evil 6 came out, and you like it? Is that what I'm kind of getting? Like
Resident Evil
6.
like 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Cuz
It
I
was
heard
really
Okay, go ahead.
arcadey, but I liked
Okay.
it.
Yeah, cuz I heard it was so mixed reviews, and it was like, "No, don't get it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to get it." And so I never played Resident Evil 6. I started with Resident Evil 4, and then I've beat Resident Evil 4 but never played 5. And then I kind of fell off the franchise cuz I was just not really feeling 5. Like 5 really turned me off cuz I was like, I don't like this. And then with Resident Evil 7 though, that brought me in and I'm like, "Man, this is a good game." And well, you see, now I'm thinking about it. I don't even think I played Resident Evil 7 yet. I think I played the remake of Resident Evil 2 first. And when I played that game, I was like, this is amazing. When I played Leon's story, I liked how the game looks amazing because it's in the RE engine. And then from there, I went and played Resident Evil 7, went back, played 7, played it on stream, beat that, enjoyed that very much. I like the first person aspect of things, and we got introduced to Ethan, who is our protagonist. Capcom kind of let the cat out of the bag and said that he is our protagonist for the next 3 games, or the
Oof.
last game, this game, and the next one. So there's a trilogy of Ethan, is essentially what's happened here.
Poor Ethan. Fuck.
I know. It's like, what's going to happen to him now that he's going to go to the next one? But yeah, it's kind of interesting that they've kind of introduced this character who the original crew that we were constantly flipping back and forth from was Leon and Chris, and then we got Claire, and then Jill obviously was kind of mixed in there too. But the main 2 guys that we had was Leon and Chris, and then from there now we have this. We did kind of try to do another guy in there. I forgot what's the other dude's name that was in 6. Do you remember the
Um,
third guy?
I know it was Chris, Leon, and somebody else.
Yeah, and so like they were trying to introduce him, and then I heard he wasn't that good of a character. But then Ethan has done great. Like I liked his character. I like his character in 7. He's obviously kind of silent protagonist, but he can be kind of a whiny bitch sometimes. But I think that kind of adds to his
The realism
personality a little
factor.
bit. Yeah, because you're like, yeah, I'm in a shitty situation. I'm not gonna be fucking okay with a guy that just blew up in front of me that I just chainsawed.
Well, yeah,
So
he's trying to save his wife the whole time.
yeah,
So it's just like
and then
super fucked.
he has to make that decision too.
Because wasn't that whole thing? They were. Oh no, I'm thinking of Outlast 2.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So spoilers for Resident Evil 7. Okay. I'm gonna give people a second. You can forward a little bit here, but like this is spoilers for Resident Evil 7. So who did you choose to save? Did you save your wife or did you save the gal?
Save my fucking wife.
I did too. Do you think they're gonna incorporate that in Village? They have to,
Like
right?
choosing your ending.
Yeah. Because like,
Um,
wouldn't I have got? I saved a
hmm,
different person.
maybe. I mean, you could. I mean, since there's gonna be like, let's assume. Let's just assume that there's gonna be werewolves because of the cover of the game.
Okay.
Let's. I'm just gonna assume that. I have a feeling like you're gonna be having to choose between werewolves and vampires for your ending of the game.
Really? So you think you're gonna? Okay. So yeah, let's go into
I
that.
think
Let's
it'll be
go
a
into
Twilight
predictions of the game.
situation.
Predictions of the game right now. Welcome back, everybody. If you skipped forward, this is the safe part. We're not doing that anymore. I mean, we might lightly touch upon what we just said, but we're going on here. Um, so predictions for Village. Do you think there are going to be more choices like how they did? You just mentioned the possibility of either werewolves or vampires. Do you think
Yeah.
there's going to be more choices like that they had kind of in Village or in
I
Biohazard?
don't I don't think there will be a lot more choices just because like of the style of the game. I think it'd be a lot of work for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see them having more options for the ending of the game, but not necessarily more options leading up throughout the game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
like there could be three different endings. Like you could completely just, being Ethan, he's really not connected other than like being held up by Chris Redfield after he fucking killed everything. I mean, in 7.
Yeah.
Oops. Um but like you could either like help him out, like it looks like he might have been turned into a werewolf. You either help him out or you help the vampires out because what they're doing is like more aligned with what you want to do, or like you could just go the umbrella route, uh, um,
Because
and
isn't
just kill
Ethan
everybody.
Ethan's some random schmo, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just a
He
random
just was
dude. You
looking
just
for
get
his
wrong place,
wife.
wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he could end up just killing everybody. You could end up choosing to kill Chris. That would be really interesting.
So you think there's gonna be this
I think
choosing
there's gonna
three
be a GTA
path?
5 moment
Yeah,
where
where
you
you
have
gotta
three
go like,
options.
okay, I'm choosing like how you yeah. I could dig that. I could dig that. Where there's like a neutral route where like maybe you side with both, but you're also like killing or you're killing both kind of thing. Or
Yeah.
there's the werewolf route or the vampire route. That would be interesting. That would be a very interesting ending.
And, that would Resident Evil's always been a game where you like they always have like a new game plus option or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. This would be way that would keep your new game pluses really fresh,
Yeah.
where you're building up to something different every time so you
Now
can
they
get all
they
three endings.
they could do a Bioshock route where they do like in Bioshock. This isn't really a spoiler. This is kind of just something that people kind of know at this point. And the game's like 2007, so here it
Yeah,
is.
it's
You if you harvest a little sister for Adam, you will get a bad ending. If you do if one of them, you'll get a semi bad ending. Um, if you do all of the little sisters and you harvest all of them, you get the evil ending. If you never harvest any of the little sisters and you save them, you get the good ending. I think that going off of your thing, I think that's how it's going to be. Where there's going to be like little
yeah.
things that you can do, but based on that, you got this ending.
Yeah, that
Like,
would be pretty cool too. I like the idea of like multiple endings. I'm a
mm-hmm.
huge Dead Rising fan, in the fact that like you have to play the game multiple times to get 100% of the game. Like
Yeah.
you feel like you get your worth out of it. You can be satisfied with one playthrough and unsatisfied with another one, and it'll make you want to play it again. I don't know. I always liked the format of having multiple endings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see, especially like I mean now I kind of think about it like horror games are going that route of because what is it what was that game? I Outlast. I think the first Outlast, there are 2 endings to that. There's Visage, the horror game that I was playing. I need to go back to that. That's on my back catalog. That has multiple endings to it. And then Resident Evil 7, Biohazard has multiple endings. I think it has 2 different endings. I think the main ending is there, but you have that semi-ending that happens, so that might be different. I don't know. I've only played it once, but yeah, I could see Capcom and the Resident Evil team be up for doing that, especially since they're kind of leading the charge here on these modern horror games right now. Because I mean, there's no one that franchise. One is revived. There's 8 of them now. Eight in the mainline series, not including like Code Veronica or the arcade shooters and things like that. So, I mean, there's nothing competing with it at this point. Because I don't know if Red Barrel's making Outlast 3. So, but
yeah, I don't know. I'd play it, but
we'd have to. I think we're contractually obligated at this point.
yeah, pretty much.
Now that we've beat
just...
1 and 2 on the channel.
Oof.
Yeah. So I guess any final words on that? On Resident Evil?
I think that about covers it. Are you gonna watch that animated series?
I'm definitely gonna do it. I liked Resident Evil Degeneration. I as a kid I got that on DVD. I don't even know who got that for me, but I had it and it was pretty good. So now that they've said that this one is gonna be tied in to the story, like there's animations going forward are gonna tie into the games now. There's a reason to go see the shows. There's a reason to watch the movies. And it's going to be this weird cinematic multimedia like universe that they're creating, but I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited. I'm usually not one to fall into the games, into movies and TV shows kind of thing, because usually turn out pretty shitty, but this looks pretty promising. I'll have to check it out as well.
Okay. Well, we're moving on. I don't even think there is a front.
Oh, he just
oh my god! I got that too.
Fuck off.
He's like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna go out the way I want to go out.
Oh, dude, I can see him.